Hello and welcome everyone. In this video we will see how dangerous is hydrofluoric acid, as I'm making a silicon wafer from scratch. Thank you for clicking on this video. It is brought to you by the Question Answer channel. Thanks to Sasha Chemey, Franklin Veaux, Tom Ledford and Brett Sampson for sharing their answers with us. We'll start with Sasha Chemey's first answer. I appear to be the second person here with actual experience with HF, and, incidentally, Marvin Harris, plutonium. So let me chime in. Do not attempt this reaction. Period. I spent over 2 months working with my university's Office of Environmental Health and Safety to develop protocols to work with HF in our lab. That was from adapting protocols from other labs, for our unique constraints. HF boils below room temperature. If you breathe in large amounts, your sinuses will dissolve, your lungs will burn from the inside out, and you will die. HF is chemically corrosive. It will eat through your long sleeves, gloves, skin, and get into your bones, making them as brittle as glass. A few hours later, you will lift up a glass of water, or book, and your wrist will snap in two. HF is chemically toxic. It will burn a painless hole through your skin, get into your blood, and stop your heart. You will not even know what happened, and you will die. HF will cause you to lose your eyes, and an eye wash station won't do anything. If my buddy sees anything on me, I immediately stop my reaction, take off my glove, and start rubbing a special reactive gel on the site while he calls 911. Then, he starts rubbing the gel on the site. Then the EMS rubs gel on the site. Then the doctors rub gel on the site. Then they put me under anesthetic, while a nurse rubs gel on the site, and they look at how much material has been lost, while seeing if I am in danger of having my heart stopped. The words, chemical amputation, come up in the literature an awful lot. HF eats through glass quickly, passes through some plastics as if they weren't there, and brittles every other plastic. The quickest way to have a medical emergency is to attempt something for which you are unprepared. We spent over $1,000 buying safety equipment, in addition to the extraordinary safety precautions we always take. There were several months of practice reactions with less dangerous chemicals. I have a fully trained buddy with me at all times, to help me keep my head on straight, and respond in an emergency. We conduct all HF manipulations behind several layers of glass and plastic, with thick rubber over all exposed surfaces, and only work with the minimum possible HF for each reaction. Every step is choreographed and practiced to be the least unsafe steps possible. I have spent nearly 2 years working on this project. If anything goes wrong, I have the resources of a major university to call upon. Disposing of waste is expensive, time-consuming, and dangerous, and I have special protocols to handle it. I once said I would never work with HF. That changed, but we took extraordinary pains to make sure we handled it with respect. You will not be able to do this reaction safely, so do not do it at all. The following answer is from Franklin Veaux. Sweet Jesus on a pogo stick, no. Just.no. HF is one of the most dangerous chemicals you can possibly have the misfortune to work with. It is always trying to kill you, and it kills you gruesomely. It's horrifyingly toxic. It dissolves flesh on contact. It soaks into your body and necrotizes flesh, and one of the most horrifying things about it is you won't feel it. It destroys your pain nerves faster than they can send signals to your brain telling you you're dying. It's incredibly corrosive, and will happily chew through almost any material it comes into contact with. Your workbench, your gloves, whatever. It's ferociously reactive, and the reaction byproducts are. Access this answer and support the author as a Quora Plus subscriber. Access all answers reserved by Franklin Veaux. For Quora Plus subscribers, access exclusive answers from thousands more participating creators in Quora Plus. Browse ad-free and support creators. Start free trial. Learn more. The next answer is from Tom Ledford. My laboratory assistant and I worked several years in a big industrial company with liquid hydrogen fluoride, also water solutions of HF, and other related dangerous materials. Neither of us ever experienced a serious injury, nor witnessed another person having serious injury. Liquid HF, or solutions of it in water, are surely one of the most dangerous materials one can encounter. It poisons the flesh, causing it to die and fall off the bones. Handling cobras is probably safer. The first step in avoiding injury is to use HF only if you must. The second step is to prepare for accidents ahead of time. Years after my experience with HF, I was offered a substantial raise to go to work for another company to do liquid HF research. I declined the offer, not because I was afraid to do it, but because I believed that their HF process should not be used because they had a safer alternative. I always required that my lab contain a large mouth jar, big enough for the biggest hand to enter, with an ample amount of an antidote solution in it. This solution was made by saturating water with as much calcium chloride and magnesium chloride as it would take into solution. It is okay to have undissolved materials in the bottom of the jar. Both calcium and magnesium chlorides will precipitate fluoride ions to a very low level. Both calcium and magnesium chlorides are used because they have slightly different roles. Magnesium chloride, when dissolved, produces magnesium ions which presumably move more rapidly through the skin than the larger calcium ions. Both of them produce an insoluble precipitate to reduce the level of the toxic fluoride ions. Calcium ions migrate through the skin slower than magnesium ions, but they take the fluoride ion to a lower concentration than does the magnesium ion. In summary, you are using magnesium chloride for its faster migration, and calcium chloride for its greater effectiveness. To treat an accidental exposure of the skin to HF, you have this antidote always prepared and ready before an accident. Then, if an accident occurs, you immerse the affected body part into the antidote solution and continue contact with antidote solution for at least an hour. It can also be useful to have antidote solution available in other containers than the aforementioned jar. A large supply of antidote solution should be available from plastic squeeze bottles, too. I did see one incident of a match-head-sized droplet of HF that got on the skin of a person from another lab. He came to my lab, where we kept the antidote. We immediately treated him and observed the irritation and swelling to promptly decrease. After about an hour of soaking with the antidote, he decided to go to a doctor, but the doctor said there was nothing for him to do. No lasting injury occurred, not even a skin disturbance. The use of this antidote is not recommended, since I am not a physician and cannot recommend medical treatments. You have to make that decision by yourself. I do not know of any controlled studies. Nevertheless, I will not work with HF without this antidote solution being available ahead of time. Only the following rules make sense to me. 1. Avoid use of HF. 2. Make antidote ahead of time. 3. Give antidote immediately if skin contact occurs. 4. Don't forget Rule 1. For inhaled or swallowed HF, expect rapid death, but the antidote solution I described perhaps could be given orally in the most desperate situations. We continue with Brett Sampson's answer.
I work with hydrofluoric acid every day, and have done so for over 30 years. I am in the semiconductor industry, specifically I am in manufacturing of tungsten hexafluoride which is used in vapor deposition in creating computer chips. HF is very dangerous. If you get enough HF on you to cover the size of a dime, you are probably going to die. The HF adsorbs quickly, destroying tissues along the way. It adsorbs so fast that by time you reach something to wipe it off, it is already in your body. The direct tissue damage is the least of your problems. HF goes easily into your bloodstream and causes havoc with your magnesium and calcium levels in your blood, but also affects the levels of all of your electrolytes. I work with a guy who got 2 drops on his arm once when he was breaking a tubing line. He made it into the safety shower within 15 seconds, and he was administered calcium glutamate, which neutralizes the HF, within 30 seconds. He was in the emergency room within 20 minutes, he still almost died. His electrolyte levels crashed. 1 drop of concentrated HF can kill you if you don't immediately shower and apply calcium glutamate. Even with the antidote, I do not think most people would survive 4 drops. 1 milliliter would kill anyone 10 times over. With HF, if it does not kill you immediately, it probably won't kill you at all. My coworker ended up with a wound that was about 50 square cm. The wound looked like a burn wound, where all the burn tissue was removed. It was oozing and nasty. But now several years later he still has full function of the arm and he still works with HF. I am assuming that you are going to make tungsten hexafluoride, if you are going to make your own chips. I hope you realize that HF is not the most dangerous part of the process. HF is split into hydrogen and fluorine F2 before the fluorine is reacted with the tungsten. Those of us who work with both have a deep and profound respect for hydrogen fluoride, and we have spent many thousands of hours engineering a safe system. We respect HF, and we fear fluorine. Fluorine is way worse. I have seen a piece of 1/4-inch mono alloy tubing about 2 feet long melt in a flash because someone did not evacuate it properly. A little air or moisture was left behind and F2 reacts so violently, and with so much heat that it has no problem melting stainless steel or stronger alloys. Once there is a pinhole in the wall, it is all over and you get a runaway reaction as long as there is fluorine to react with. If you ever are exposed to fluorine, it will vigorously react with your body, churning your own water molecules into HF. Small-scale chip manufacturing at the university level goes through very thorough engineering reviews. I hope you do the same. In my professional opinion, with 30 years of working in the industry, you should only attempt to manufacture a computer chip in partnership with an advanced university who has a lot of experience in this field.
This is the end of the video. Thank you for staying until the end. If this answer helps you, please help us too by leaving a like and subscribing to this channel. It allows us to move forward on YouTube. Friends, it's now the end of this video. Remember to leave a comment to tell us if these answers are more for you. See you soon.